You put your baby down, they scream. You pick them up, they stop instantly. And the thought crosses your mind. Maybe your mother-in-law said it out loud. Maybe a well-meaning friend said it over coffee. Maybe you even read it in a book. Don't pick them up every time they cry. You'll spoil them. They need to learn to self-soothe. So, you try it, you wait, your baby's cry gets louder. Your chest tightens. Every single part of your body is pulling you toward that crib, telling you to go to them. But you've been told that's the wrong move, that you're creating a bad habit, that you need to be strong now so that they can be strong later. Here's what nobody tells you. That instinct you feel, that physical pull toward your crying baby, is not weakness. That is not you being too soft. According to neuroscience, that is biology working exactly as it was designed to. I've spent a long time studying the psychology and neuroscience behind early childhood development. And what I found about those first months of a baby's life completely changed the way I understood what's actually happening in that moment, when your baby stops crying the second you pick them up. That's not manipulation. That's not a habit you accidentally created. That is a survival system doing precisely what millions of years of evolution built it to do. In this video, I'm going to show you what is actually happening inside your baby's brain and nervous system every time you put them down, and why responding to them is not just okay, it is neurologically necessary. The kind of necessary that, if you ignore it, can have real consequences that last far longer than you think. But before I do, I need to tell you something about the advice most parents are still receiving today. Because for decades, parents have been given two instructions: let them cry it out and don't hold them too much. It sounds logical on the surface. Teach independence early. Build resilience. Don't create crutches. Every well-meaning relative says it. Every outdated parenting book says it. The problem is that the science doesn't support any of it. And if you follow that advice without understanding what it actually does to your baby's developing brain, you could be producing the exact opposite of what you want for your child. That's what this video is about. Let me start with the story your baby's body is telling from the very first day of their life. For 9 months, your baby had zero separation from you. Not emotional separation, not symbolic separation, physical separation. There was no border between your body and theirs. Your heartbeat was their background noise. Your oxygen was their oxygen. Your warmth was their temperature regulation. Your movement rocked them to sleep every single night. Then birth happens, and their nervous system, still immature, still forming, neurologically incomplete, does not understand that this separation is safe. It has no reference point for safety outside of your body. It has never experienced the world without you as its anchor. Developmental neurologist Dr. Niels Bergman has a word for this critical period. He calls it exogestation. Here's what that means. Unlike most mammals, human babies are born neurologically unfinished. Other mammals are born ready to move, to flee, to survive independently within hours or days. Human babies need 9 to 12 months outside the womb to complete the regulatory development that other mammals finish before birth. Which means that for that entire first year, your body is still functioning as an external womb. Not a crutch, not a comfort object, an external womb, a biological necessity. When you're not there, your baby's nervous system doesn't think, okay, I'll wait. It can't think that. Its nervous system reads your absence as a threat signal. Not sadness, not loneliness, a full survival alarm. The same alarm that would fire if the threat were real, because at this stage of development, the brain cannot tell the difference. And when that alarm fires, here's what happens in your baby's body. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, floods the brain. This is where it gets measurable. This is not theory. This is biology you can observe in real time. When a newborn is placed on their mother's chest, skin to skin, 4 things happen almost immediately. Their heart rate stabilizes, their cortisol level drops, Their body temperature begins to self-regulate. Their breathing becomes rhythmic and even. Now, pay close attention to what I'm about to say, because this is where most people misunderstand what's happening. The baby is not calming down because they are comfortable. They are calming down because they are exiting survival mode. Because before that contact happened, their nervous system was running a full threat response. Separation registers as danger. Your presence, your skin, your scent, the specific rhythm of your heartbeat is what tells their brain that the danger is over. No white noise machine achieves this. No swing, no pacifier reaches the nervous system the way your body does. Because the nervous system is not looking for comfort, it is looking for you, specifically you. And here is what happens when infants are repeatedly left to manage that alarm on their own, when they cry alone before their nervous system is ready for it. Cortisol floods the developing brain again and again. Early chronic stress at that level does not toughen a baby up. It physically alters the architecture of their developing brain. The regions responsible for emotional regulation, stress response, and social connection are all affected. Emotional regulation becomes harder, not because the child is difficult, but because their brain was overwhelmed before it had any tools to cope. Letting a young infant cry it out does not build resilience. It builds a brain that has learned to manage stress without support. And those two things are not the same, not even close. Now, let's talk about what actually happens in cultures that do this differently. In societies where babies are carried continuously, where physical closeness is the norm, not the exception, rates of colic are dramatically lower. Inconsolable crying is less common. Infant sleep disturbances are reduced. These are not easier babies. These are babies whose nervous systems are receiving what they were biologically designed to receive: constant proximity to a caregiver, consistent co-regulation, and the repeated neurological signal that the world is safe. And here's the finding that surprises most parents most of all. Children who are held and responded to most consistently in infancy, who are carried, who are picked up when they cry, who are co-regulated throughout those early months, show greater independence as they grow older, not less. This is not a small or disputed finding. It is one of the most replicated results in attachment research. Why? Because independence does not develop by forcing separation before the nervous system is ready for it. Independence develops when the nervous system finally accumulates enough evidence that the world is safe, safe enough to explore, safe enough to move away, safe enough to try something without a guarantee that someone will be there. Security comes first. Freedom follows. In that order. That sequence cannot be reversed without cost. When you push the sequence, independence before security, you do not get a self-sufficient child. You get a child whose nervous system adapted to chronic stress because it had no alternative. That might look like independence from the outside. It is the opposite on the inside. The fear of spoiling a child is one of the most persistent and harmful myths in modern parenting. Think about what spoiling actually implies. It implies that too much attention creates damage, that too much responsiveness corrupts something. But you cannot spoil a nervous system that is still being built. You cannot create bad habits in a brain that does not yet have the neurological capacity for manipulation. Manipulation requires a theory of mind, the ability to model another person's perspective and use it strategically. That capacity doesn't develop until around age 3 or 4. A newborn, a 3-month-old, a 6-month-old, they are not manipulating you. They are communicating in the only language their body knows. What you can do by responding consistently is teach the developing brain one of the most foundational lessons it will ever learn: that the world is safe, that when they need someone, someone comes, that they are worth showing up for. That lesson, embedded through thousands of small responses in infancy, becomes the internal working model your child carries into every relationship, every challenge, every new situation for the rest of their life. And I know there's pressure. because everyone has an opinion. You'll make them dependent. You need to teach them to calm themselves. Here's the truth about self-soothing, because I want to be precise about this. Self-soothing is not a skill a newborn or young infant possesses. It is a skill that develops slowly, over months and years, as the prefrontal cortex gradually matures and the brain builds the regulatory circuits it needs. You are not doing it for them forever. You are doing it until they can. You are doing it while you are the only nervous system in the room developed enough to do it. That is not weakness. That is co-regulation. That is exactly what parents exist to provide. And there will come a point, there always does, when your child pulls away, when they want to go explore and come back, when they sleep through the night, when they go to a friend's house and don't look back. That moment arrives, reliably, for children who were held when they needed it, because they have a secure base from which to launch. So, the next time you put your baby down, they cry, and you pick them back up, I want you to notice something. That is not a failure. That is not you giving in. That is not a bad habit being reinforced. That is two nervous systems doing exactly what evolution designed them to do. Yours, reaching for them. Theirs, finding safety in you. You are not just comfort to your baby. You are regulation. You are safety, in the most literal neurological sense. You are the external nervous system they are still borrowing while their own finishes forming. And every time you show up, every time you pick them up, respond to them, stay close, you are writing something into their developing brain that no amount of early independence training can provide. The understanding that the world is safe, that people come when they're needed, and that they are worth showing up for. That is not spoiling. That is the blueprint. If this video changed the way you think about what your baby needs from you in those early months, you are going to want to watch this video next. Because there is another piece of research that surprised me even more than what we covered today, about children who share a bed with their parents. Psychologists studied what actually happens to those kids as they grow up, and the results were the opposite of what most people expect. Click on this video right here, and I'll see you there.